And I was actually surprised that when I approached him, he was actually very willing to mentor me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, sometimes you go into these big churches and you feel like you're a small mosquito amongst all of these, you know, these people. But he was very humbled and um, very receptive to me, and took me under his wing, and was able to teach me some things. And the mentorship is something that is continued even to this day. He's still my mentor. He still plays a significant role in my life and the life of my family. Um, he married my wife and I, but he's really shaped um, who I am spiritually, and been a great inspiration to me as not only a pastor, but he's a father, he's a husband, he's a friend, he's a community leader, he's a thought leader. He's a guy who, even though he's accomplished so many amazing things in his life, he's always pressing for excellence. He's always pressing for the next thing, and that's something that I've gleaned from him. The importance of community and unity, and the importance of doing things together and collaborating, partnerships, those kind of things in terms of accomplishing goals, and then having a sincere heart and a great appreciation and love for people, because you can't make a difference in the world if you don't value and have a deep love for people. And he's always remained personable in his success, and that has helped me also to remain humble and personable in the level of success that I've been able to reach.
Yeah, man, it takes a lot of maturity on your part to realize while you're in college that you needed a mentor. Because I know for me personally, I made good grades in college, so I thought I had it all together, And
Yeah.
I didn't realize the value of a mentor till kind of like you said earlier, like you get to a place where you're struggling and you need somebody, you need an out, you need a way, somebody that's actually gotten out of that situation or is having success. But you realized while you were still in college that you needed a mentor, and I think that's awesome.
Well, thank you. I think, the reality of it is, nobody's perfect.
Right.
And although I've reached a level of success, I haven't done so without missteps, without challenges, without falling, and it's critical to have people in your life who genuinely care about you, not what you do. I needed to have people in my life who cared about ShanFoster, not the athlete,
Right.
not the community leader, not those kind of things, but really cared about me and was able to say, based on who you are, you don't need to do that again.
Yeah.
Based on your goals and what you're trying to accomplish, you don't need to hang out with those kind of people.
Yeah.
And sometimes we as people shy away from the honest truth, when the Bible says the truth will set you free. And sometimes we find ourselves in situations where we're in bondage and we don't know how to get out, and it's solely because we're not able to live in truth, because we got people around us who are yes men. They just want to make us smile. They just want to agree with everything that we're doing so that they can be around. As a people, we're so attracted to other people who make us feel good, but it's those people who are willing to challenge us deeply who really catapult us to the level of success that sometimes is even beyond what we could even imagine for ourselves.
I love it. So what advice would you give, whether they're middle school, high school, or college kids that don't have a mentor yet? Like, what do you suggest that they do? Like, how should they go about getting a mentor?
If you don't have a mentor right now, find people in your community, find people in your neighborhood, go online, find people that live in your state, and reach out. In today's time, we have more access to people than we've ever had before. Everybody's on some form of social media. You can send people a quick, instant message on anything and just say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. I noticed that, you know, you are a leader in this field. Would you be interested in mentoring me?
Yeah.
Would you, you know, doing internships? You know, I get it. You know, you're a college student, you're a high school student. You might be looking for internships that are going to be paying some money, but sometimes those internships actually are better for you.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes those internships that just allow you to shadow somebody who's doing great in a certain position will end up being a job for you, or that person, because they've gotten to the height of their career, their network becomes your network.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're able to get jobs now that you would have never even had access to because of an internship that started out paying you nothing.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible says to not fret over small beginnings. You know, everybody has to start somewhere,
Right.
you know, and so you may not have that relationship already, but go and build that relationship. And one of the key things is everybody likes to be told that they're great. Everybody. You could go and just tell a random person off the street how great they are, and they'll stand there and talk to you about it.
Yeah.
People will love sharing what they're doing and what they're passionate about. So if you go and find somebody who is excelling in an area that you want to excel in, do your research and know about them and what they're doing in the community and what's important to them. And when you go up to them, don't start off just saying, hey, I'm so-and-so, can you mentor me? No, talk to them about what you know about them. What do you admire about them? And they'll sit there and they'll talk to you. And by the time you finish the conversation, you can say, you know what, this has been such a great conversation. I would love to continue this. If you would be interested in mentoring me, I would certainly appreciate it. You'd be surprised.
There's so much good stuff that you just said there. And like, I hope that people that watch this will just take your advice. Kind of like, we wouldn't be talking right now if I didn't just send you a DM on Instagram, you know?
Exactly.
You have to be intentional, and you just got to realize how much value there is in a mentor and just building relationships. Because my biggest mistake was I thought as long as I was making good grades, everything was going to be rainbows and unicorns when I got into the real world.
Right.
That's not the truth. I mean, it's important to be academically smart and be able to apply it in the real world, but just having that hands-on experience, that communication with somebody that's actually doing it, what you want to do, can be a game changer.
Absolutely. And there's so many people out there that, like I said, are willing to help.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible says that we have not because we ask not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I believe that wholeheartedly. You know, there's somebody out there in the world who has the ability to meet every single need that we have. But we can't sit back and wait for them to come to us. Sometimes we got to go out to them. You know, when I started doing the work with the YWCA and the Men Together program, and we're talking about going all over the country and making a difference and ending violence against women and girls in Nashville. There's a guy by the name of Tony Porter with an organization called A Call to Men. They're one of the thought leaders in the space of engaging men in this work. So I went to a conference and saw Tony speak, and I went up to him afterwards and said, hey, I'm new to this work. I would love for you to mentor me. And then I followed up with him. He gave me his card. I called him, and we probably spoke, you know, a few times over a year before we were actually able to get to a place where we could start really having some major dialogue about some issues. But he's been an incredible resource to not only my career, but even my personal life, you know? And it's all because I took the courage to go and ask.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So it's important.
It's such a simple thing, but it's just actually doing it. I mean, we get this mindset, especially when you're younger and you haven't gotten used to interacting or approaching people that you don't know, that you're just fearful and you just assume that they're going to come to you and know exactly what you need help with, which is which isn't the case.
Right.
You just have to. I mean, and they might not be your mentor. They might not help you, but if you ask, you're missing the opportunity.
Absolutely. You can't be afraid of the no.
Right.
Because if you're afraid of the no, then you'll never find a yes.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're talking about being a mentor, you know, I look at it the same way that I looked at, you know, the draft process when I was coming out of college. There's 30 teams in the NBA. I didn't need all 30 teams to like me. I just needed one. 29 teams could have said no. I needed one to say yes. And it's the same thing. You know, you got to go out there. You can't be afraid of who's telling you no. And I'm a firm believer also that there are certain strategic partnerships. There are strategic people around the world who can literally help you go from a place of need to a place of surplus. And there are certain people who you're supposed to be connected to, and there's certain people who you're not supposed to be connected to. And you have to be okay with that. I'm not supposed to be connected to everybody. So naturally, there's going to be some people who I'm going to ask, and they're going to say no. Not because I'm a bad person, not because, you know, my goal is not supposed to get accomplished or because I'm doing the wrong thing, but because they're not the people who are assigned to help me. Yeah. But I'll never find the people who are assigned to help me if I'm afraid of a no. So I got to keep asking until I find those people who are connected to my purpose. Because once I find people who are connected to my purpose, then everything that is supposed to happen works out for my good.
Bro, we need to give you an altar, a podium, and just let you preach, bro, because you're right now. Like, man, everything you're saying is stuff that I've learned, but I've learned the hard way, you know, and it's just like we could just sit down, every single middle school, high school kid, and they took what you're saying and put it into action. No matter what situation, how bad it is, it can completely change. And
absolutely.
And it's amazing how many people are willing to help out, to mentor, if somebody approaches them the correct way, kind of like you said. And it's all about just being genuine and maybe provide some type of value. Obviously kids there's not a lot you can do, but kind of like you said, you got to be strategic about it and figure out a way that you're not just asking for something. You're able to show an interest in what they're doing.
Well, I think the major thing with that is, you know, having a work ethic. Mm-hmm. If you have a strong work ethic, and I'm not talking about, you know, the work ethic that's contingent upon whether or not you're tired, mm-hmm. or contingent upon, you know, whether or not you have enough free time in your day. Like I hear so many parents who are saying, you know, well, when is my kid going to be able to be a kid? And I'm like, once you accomplish your goal, you can be as big a kid you want to be.
Right.
But until I accomplish the goal, I gotta work. And I gotta work while I'm young because old is coming.
Yeah.
You know? And so I gotta make sure that when I'm approaching somebody, if they say, you know what, meet me tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., I can't say, well, I don't wake up until 7. You know, I can't say that, you know, well, I got this play date with my boys, or, you know, I'm going to hang out with my girls, you know, tomorrow night. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make that because I need my energy. Like that's not how you show up. Yeah. You know, but if you show up ready and willing to do whatever, like your success is determined by the energy that you put out.
Yeah.
When you show up like that, then people are willing to go above and beyond to be invested in your success. You see, that's the difference. You know, you just go and ask somebody, you know, they might help you, they may not. But if
Yeah.
you go and ask and you show somebody your work ethic, you show somebody your commitment to it,
Yeah.
then they become invested in your success. And ultimately, that's what you want. You want people who, while they're at work and they're meeting people, they're thinking about how their connections can better connect you. You want people thinking about how where they're going in their life can be a blessing to you and your life. That's when people are invested into what you're doing. It's not just about the investment. It's about people being invested in your success.
Man, that's so true. Like, I spoke at a college a few weeks ago, and I had people approach me afterwards, which was great that they were intentional and reached out to me and asked me about different things. And then, I challenged them. I would challenge them to do something, or, and then follow back up with me. And you'd be surprised. Well, you probably aren't surprised, but how many people didn't actually do that next step? They would have just done it. They could have failed at that next step, and they could be like, "Man, I tried, just didn't work out for me." And I would have still, like I said, I would have invested in that person. Like, all right, try this. Like there's definitely something to say about that, because if a kid shows determination, whether they fail, because we all fail. I mean, every time somebody told Shane to do something, you probably weren't able to always do it, but you try. I don't remember the exact quote, but Michael Jordan, takes how many shots and he missed how many, but it's like you learn from that. And especially if somebody's investing their time in you and they're challenging you to do something, do it. If you fail, don't be embarrassing. And it might be one of those things like I challenged them and then they weren't able to do it, and so they didn't come back to me. But if you fail, follow up. You still need to follow up no matter what, whether you're able to do or not do what you're doing. Like, because if you show that type of perseverance and that steadfastness to go after what you want, people that are in a place of success in the business world know that mentality, and that type of mentality is how you can get far in life.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's all about your brand as a person, right? Like, everybody is their own brand. Whether you want to be or not, you are your own brand. And whether you're going into an executive office, or you're going to a college, university classroom, or you're sitting in class in high school or middle school, you are your brand. And every day you represent your brand. And how you represent that brand matters. So if a teacher gives you an assignment, and every time they give you an assignment, you bring it back late, then they've attached laziness to your brand. So then when an opportunity comes up that you may not even be aware of, you're not going to be the first person they think of, because when they think about you, they think about laziness, right? It's so critical that you always be a person who's thinking about your brand. How do I make sure that I'm always putting my best foot forward? If somebody asks me to do something and I commit to doing it, then I do it. If I don't, if I can't do it for some reason, I communicate, I apologize, I follow up, I set up another meeting, or what have you. Those things are critical, because you never know who is connected to what you need. And we all need people. Nobody in this entire world got to where they are completely by themselves. We all need people in order to move our dreams from just being dreams to being successes. And so if you minimize your experiences with people by showing up late, or not following through, or not following up with people, or just allowing balls to drop, right? Then when they think about you and your brand and what you bring to the table, they're not going to put their name on the line for you. I can't tell you how many opportunities I've gotten solely because my reputation precedes me. So they know when somebody suggests you should get ShanFoster to go and do this, they already know based on my brand what they're getting. So they're more likely to say, you know what, we have this thing going on with the White House. I need ShanFoster to be involved with this. I got this thing going on with Georgetown University. I need ShanFoster to be involved in it. And they're not afraid to send me because they know I'm not going to let them down. They know when they invite me to something, I'm going to show up. Right? There's a right now there's a guy, and I can't think his name. He's married to Megan Good. He's a pastor, and he's worked in Hollywood. I have his book, and I got his face in my head, but I can't think of his name. But he came out with the movie Star, and the movie Star is literally it's a remake. It's a cartoon animated remake of the nativity scene from the Bible. And when they were coming out with this movie, a friend of mine called me and invited me to go to a premiere of the movie. It was a private event, right? And it was in Atlanta. This was an opportunity that I got to go and be amongst other VIPs from around the country in this isolated event. And they paid for my travel, they paid for my food, they paid for everything. One of the biggest reasons why I was invited in the first place is because before this invitation, there were 3 other things that they invited me to, and I showed up. And I showed up on time.
Yeah.
I would have never gotten this opportunity had I not handled those other opportunities well. So how you show up, your brand matters.
Man. And like, I mean, just even with iSocial Mentor, just for people to understand that, I mean, me and you just doing this today, it took persistence by me. I could have, not followed up with you. I could have not reached out to you, or, there's so many people that I've had on our mentorship site that it required me to do more than one time, and message, and because people are busy, people have other circumstances, but in my heart, in my mind, I know that these people can provide value, and so it's worth it to me to reach out, and they might have to push off for months, but at the end of the day, you get what you put into it. I mean, if I gave up every single time somebody didn't say yes right off the bat, I would not be here today. I'd have I don't know I wouldn't have what I have. I wouldn't have the opportunities I've gotten to go to since then. And it's all about persistent. It's all about work ethic, and it's all about building relationships. Because even just building relationships, I might have reached out to one person with intentions of having them be a mentor, and they were busy, but they were like, I love your vision. How about you talk to so-and-so? And then I have them come on, and then they open it up for all these other people to actually learn about iSocial Mentor. And so it's crazy how God works. I think everything happens for a reason. I think God, as long as you are doing things with integrity, with character, that good things will happen. It's just,
and they're supposed to happen. The Bible says that all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose. So when you know that you're walking along His purpose, and it's not about you, you're not selfish. It's not just about you being a millionaire, and so you can go drive the fancy car, or so you can go, do this and do that. But it's all about a greater purpose. Then things are supposed to work out. That's how this world was created, But that heart piece matters. The integrity matters. The character matters. And notice we're not talking about perfection.
Yeah.
We're talking about character, That doesn't mean that you won't slip and fall. That doesn't mean that you won't do something that's embarrassing, or, that other people would be ashamed of you for, That's not what that means. But what character is you taking accountability and ownership of your mistakes, saying, you know what, I screwed up. I'm sorry. I'm going to move forward and do things differently. You know, that's what it's all about. We live in a world where there's too many people trying to act like we made it to a level of success by being perfect. And that's not the truth. And I
No.
think there's a lot of kids who shut off listening to adults because they're saying, I know you're not perfect, but you're
Yeah.
trying to make me believe you're perfect, which is inauthentic, and I can't trust you. But when you have someone who comes up and says, you know what? I've made some of those same mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I have some of those same flaws. And guess what? Even today, I'm still working on some things.
Mm-hmm.
But the core of me is I have integrity. I have character. I
Yeah.
do what I say I'm going to do. I be where I say I'm going to be. I apologize and I take ownership for things that don't work out and things that I do wrong. But I push for excellence regardless. And I have a zeal that doesn't allow me to quit just because I experience failure. Failure is only failure when you stop.
Mm.
You always find success when you push past failures.
Man, that's so good because and I love that you hit on it because I love where this conversation has went because for me, when I was seeking out mentors, I was seeking out these people because they were successful in life. They had successful businesses. And what I realized as I actually built a relationship with these people and was just transparent about all things that I was struggling with in life, you'd be really surprised how many of those same people had same struggles, and they got through it. Or maybe they're going through the same struggles you are right now, but you're able to be in a community now with like-minded people that have a certain place they want to get to. And it's all about being transparent. It's all about being true to yourself and realizing, because like you said, nobody wants to hang out with fake people.
Right.
I mean, whether you're an adult or you're a kid, but I mean, especially a kid, like a kid's going to turn off their switch to paying attention to you if they think you're inauthentic. And so
Yep.
I think what you've hit on is huge because every single one of us has flaws. Because you're a mentor doesn't mean you're perfect. All that means is that you care.
Exactly. And I would even encourage the students and the kids that are interested in having mentors. Once you've received, you now have a responsibility to give.
Mm.
So if you're in middle school, go find you an elementary kid who you can share your experiences with. If you're in high school, go find a middle school student who you can share your experiences with, because we all grow together.
Mm.
As you said, it's all about sharing. Well, what do I share? I share what I've learned. In the Bible, it was Peter who said, silver and gold have I none, but what I have, I'm going to give to you. Even if all I have is knowledge, even if all I have is the fact that I survived some stuff that should have killed me, even if all I have is my family, I got to share that, because it's through sharing that somebody else can take what I've given them and expound upon it. That's what being a mentor is all about. That's what true success is all about. It's not about reaching the top of the mountain. It's about the lessons you learn on your way up that you can give to somebody else so that you can help them get up there with you.
Bro, you give me chill bumps, bro. You give me chill bumps. Dude, I love it. I love it. Well, man, I don't want to keep you on here too much longer, but we got a lot of great content. Is there any final thoughts or things that you would just like to share with students, whether they're women, girls, boys, college, high school, that you've learned in life that if they applied it in their life, it could be the difference for them?
You know, one of the things that is the hardest for us as people to do is to be able to accept that who we are is good enough. And so I just want to encourage everyone watching this. God has created you and placed everything inside of you that's necessary for you to reach the ultimate goal. The enemy's responsibility is to create situations in your life that make you doubt that you have all that you need. When you think about your family situation and what that looks like and the struggles that exist there, when you think about school and what that looks like and the struggles that exist there, when you think about jobs, when you think about friendships, you think about relationships and the struggles that are there, it's all a trick of the enemy to get you focused on the things that are wrong instead of focusing on all that you have on the inside of you. You were created perfect in his image. And last time I checked, the creator knows all, he is all, and can be all. And the same is true about you. Everything that you need to accomplish the goals that are in your heart are inside of you. Don't let anybody or anything make you give that up. Trust yourself, have faith in God, and press towards the mark of the prize. You will get there. The Bible says if you're going to run in a way that you will win. So go and win.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic, Shay.